I'm back again to tell you a wee bit more just about my life. I'm beginning to learn what it is to walk with God, to trust Him. And during this particular time, I used to have money that I kept to give to God's people wherever I meet them, those that were in need. And sometimes I had more money in that box than I had in my own pocket. But God spoke to me to search out a man that I'd met in Strabane at the open air, Mike, a friend of mine's, who was missioning in a place in a show, and I didn't know where, but I had some idea it was about Kildare or somewhere there. So I got the money together in my pocket, and I went down and asked a couple of people and found out where Mike lived at that time. Now I had money in my pocket and I thought maybe I don't know what to do with it. I thought maybe he'll be embarrassed if I offer him money or something like that. But anyway, I thought I have to be obedient to what I believe the Lord's saying to me. So I met Mike, chatted with him, had a cup of tea with Mike and Corey, and I says, Mike, I want to give you some money because I felt that's what the Lord had said. So I gave him the money, but he never said nothing except just thanks very much. And it was like a beginning. It was like a beginning because it said to me then at that stage, you know, we're having would you make a wee cupboard was for me. So I made the wee cupboard and took it down. He says, come on, we're going to do an open air in Carndona, and I nearly died. The fact that we were going to be doing this. So we did the open air in Carndona, came back, and he says, we have a prayer meeting on a Friday night. And next Friday, would you come down to it? And that's at 9 o'clock on a Friday night. So I came down and we began to pray on a Friday night, maybe from 9 o'clock to, could go on to 3 or 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. And there were difficult nights for me because I often wonder, how could you pray so long? And yet as time went on, I began to understand that we were in the presence of God, seeking the face of God. And it was touching me and doing something to my life. And I can remember one night in particular, 2:30, I was on my knees in prayer, and I felt as if God was putting a call on my life and asking me to dedicate my life to Him. And you know what? I struggled with that because I thought, well, here I am, got kicked out of the intermediate school, didn't even get to the last class on it. Hadn't a note in my head. I thought, what on earth could I do? And I began to struggle with thinking, Lord, how could I possibly be a servant of yours? And I can remember it as well, you know, at that point, getting to that point saying, okay, Lord, whatever you want, whatever you desire for my life, I surrender it totally and completely to you. And it was like as if heaven opened. And it's just like wave after wave of divine power began to hit my life. And there was a joy flowing through me that I've never experienced. And I knew at that point God had called me, but I was a bit afraid that maybe He would be Africa or Brazil or some other country. And it was in my heart, look, to a wee bit afraid of it. But I remember we were on holidays in Kildare, Anne was there, and I remember going down to have to wakening her up and saying, Anne, God has called me into full-time work. Now Anne, being Anne, sleepy, she says, that's grand. And I remember looking at the scriptures and some of the things that I read, really, it was as if it was like God was saying, are you really going to follow me? Are you really going to dedicate your life for me? And one of the verses where Jesus says, foxes have holes, the birds of air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Do you really want to follow me? And I can remember saying, yeah, Lord, I really want to follow you. And even the Apostle Paul, one of the scriptures was, you know, it will show this little man what great things he must suffer for my name's sake. Do you still want to follow? And I remember saying, yeah, Lord, I want to follow you. I'll get back to a wee bit more tomorrow again.